Hi, everyone, and happy Valentine's Day from the Wax Nostalgic Network. My name is Gary, and today we're going to be diving into some retro Valentine's Day cards. I have probably a collection of 700 plus cards, and so I pulled roughly a tenth of that at random. I don't really know what cards are in this particular set, so we're going to go through those together. I did my best to make sure that there weren't too many duplicate series or anything like that, but the cards themselves, I don't actually know which ones I selected for this particular video, so let's get into it. First up, we have the Jetsons. I love this is Astro, the dog from the Jetsons, and it says, "You caught my heart." This is from 1989, whenever the Jetsons were in the middle of one of their comeback periods, I feel like, and then would soon sadly be mostly forgotten except for a few direct-to-video releases and things of that nature. But I love Astro, and I think this is a cute card. Next up, we have Grimace, and the card says, "Valentine, you spice up my life." This was from a collection of scratch and sniff cards, and I remember McDonald's had them. I remember a few other collections included scratch and sniff cards, but this one features Grimace. All right, My Little Pony, You Really Sparkle, Valentine. Now, I know a little bit about My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, but the older series, I don't know the characters by name, so I'm not sure which character this one is, but it's such a cool card, like the way that they have it, that they make it sparkle, right? Like it's 2D animation that sparkles, and I love that. Sticking with that late 80s theme, we have Strawberry Shortcake, and she is saying, "Hi, sweet thing," which feels very forward. Next up, we have 101 Dalmatians, and it's the two puppies. I'm not sure which ones, but I mean, it almost looks like Pongo and Perdita, but they look too young to be them, so I'm not actually sure which dogs these are, but you are a bright spot in our class, which is a very nice thing to give to someone. Up next, from 1996 in Viacom, we have Real Monsters. This is Ickis, and he says, "I feel dangerous when you're around." Now we have, moving from Nickelodeon to Disney, we have Princess Jasmine and her pet tiger Raja, and it says, "You're a roar, Valentine." Up next, we have Anastasia and her dog, whose name I cannot remember at the moment. But I like this art. Like it's a nice, almost like the backgrounds are really pretty, and it makes the characters in the foreground pop even more. And Anastasia is a great movie that I don't think I really saw back in the day, but it's one that I've seen since, and I think it holds up pretty well. Up next, we have Barbie, who is glad that we're friends. This is from 1991, and you can see how very 90s or late 80s even this particular design for Barbie is, and I dig it. I really do. Sticking with that late 80s, early 90s theme, I mean, check out Ken's outfit. You got the shiny sparkle pants, you got the white coat, and you've got the pink shirt underneath, as well as like everything that she's rocking, from the multicolored flowers to a similar jacket to that dress. Like these were great times for crazy fashions, and I really dig this card. I also love that Ken is just straight up branded in Barbie's outfits, right? Like he's wearing a Barbie t-shirt, he's wearing a Barbie coat. Like, I mean, if she doesn't know he likes her, come on, Barbie. Next up, moving from Barbie to Batman, we have one of my favorite series as a kid, and probably one of the best cartoon series of all time, with Batman the Animated Series. And it's Batman, and it just says, "Have an action-packed Valentine's Day." But just from this particular card alone, you can get sort of the vibe of the series, just the multi shades of gray in the background, and then the blues and black and yellows of Batman's character design. Like the art of this series was just phenomenal, and this card perfectly captures it, in my opinion. Next up, we have Beauty and the Beast, or specifically just the Beast, from one of my favorite parts in the movie where they are in the courtyard and all the birds are flying around and they land on this scary monster, but they're not afraid because they know that deep down he's not a monster. I'll be fine. I loved Beauty and the Beast. I remember seeing it in the theater, and I don't remember if I had these particular cards as a kid, but I think it's really cool. And I also love that it says, forget to say Happy Valentine's Day. That would be beastly. Like, it's a good pun. I dig it. I like it a lot. I do find it a little weird that the forget to say is not like centered on the heart that's around it, but I guess, I don't know. It just looks a little funky to me, but overall, this is a great card. Next up, we have Beetlejuice and Lydia from the Beetlejuice cartoon series. This card's from 1990, and it says, can I be scary or what? I don't remember a lot of the cards in this series, but I do remember this series pretty well, and I can only say that I hope Jacques appears somewhere in the lineup. Next up. Okay. Next up, we have the Cabbage Patch Kids. And I mean, speaking of lingo in the 90s, I love reading the old Disney Adventures magazines and seeing what phrasing and lingo kids thought were in and out at that time. And this one, man, let's rap. I love that. So yeah, let's rap about this card. I think it's fantastic. And you know, the Cabbage Patch dolls had such a signature design. It's very transparent and clear. 1992, Cabbage Patch Kids, let's rap. Up next, we have Captain Planet. And, oh no, I forgot her name. Is it Gaia? Is Gaia someone else from the series? Anyways, have the best Valentine's Day on Earth. Simple message, but gets the point across. I think this is a cool one, and I think it's pretty wild that they gave us Captain Planet Valentine's Day cards. Next up, we have Care Bears. And I'm going to be honest, I don't like this. It looks like everything is melting. And I'm sorry, Elena, you put your name on it. I don't know, maybe it's just a bad rendering of the original artwork, but it looks a little funny to me. However, we have Sunshine Bear touching a sunflower, and it just says Valentine. I mean, it's a cute notion, but just something about the card itself I find a little unsettling. Next up, from the mid-90s, 1995 to be specific, we have Casper the Friendly Ghost. And it says, I'm just tickled to be your Valentine. And this is the first one where we actually get to see that you could write your name on the front of the card. Presumably the majority of these had a name spot on the back of the cards. So I loved the design and just the whole feeling around Casper 95. And, you know, the movie as a whole, it kind of falls apart in the third act for me. But like that first 30 minutes to an hour are so funny and so well written and super fun. And it brings back so many memories, from the Pizza Hut promotion to pretty much just the Pizza Hut promotion, but like I loved that so much. You could get the hand puppets and all sorts of stuff. And I mean, there were other things, some great ads and stuff that featured Casper, and that animation at the time was outstanding. Next up, we have Babs Bunny and the bird whose name I forget. That's the danger of doing this as a random pick, because I don't have time to research character names. But anyways, she is one of Tweety's, the Tweety representation for Tiny Toon Adventures. And it says, hello, Valentine, will you be mine? And she better be talking to Buster, or else. Oh, and speaking of Buster, we'll just pretend. You know, she's talking to him on the phone, they're vibing, having a good time, and oh, he flipped for her. That's the way it goes sometimes. Next up, Clarissa explains it all. And she says, I love talking to you on the phone, so what are you waiting for? And this was one of my favorite things that some cards did, where they actually took like live action versions of the character and then put them on an animated backdrop. And I just think that's such a cool aesthetic. We've got Clifford the big red dog being sneaky here. See this, Valentine? I don't know. It's cute, but it's also a little like unsettling. No, not totally sure what I think of it. He's got a mischievous smile, that's for sure. Next up, from Disney's Dinosaur. Nope, not that one. Disney's Dinosaurs. Or just dinosaurs. They were a huge part of the 90s, and this is the brother Robbie, and it says, "Have a Dynamite Valentine's Day." And I remember specifically in Disney Adventures magazine, they did, this was a live action show with puppets and such. So I remember Disney Adventures magazine did some comics for it, and I really enjoyed seeing the characters in that cartoon art style, and we get to see that here as well. And speaking of dinosaurs, here is actually, this may be our first teacher card. And I remember that certain, packs from back in the day, they were for like your friends, your crushes, and then they would have some for your teachers as well. So this is a teacher card, and you get to see the whole family minus grandma. And it says, "Hey teacher, you're one smart human." Next up, we have Pork Chop from Doug, and he says, "Wow, wow," which translates to "be mine." Next up, we have Cat in the Hat, and he is holding what I guess to be letters with heart stamped on the side. And I don't fully understand this, but I very seldom fully understand Dr. Seuss, so I think it tracks. Okay. Yeah, nope, nope. Next up, we have Goofy this was either a Goof Troop line or just Goofy himself, but he is pogoing his way across some wet cement, as you can see. And this one came up in a previous Valentine card video that I did, and I love just the little details in this, like how you can see his shadow on the ground below him. And because originally I thought that was a manhole that he was about to bounce right into, but I do believe it to be his shadow, and he's about to ruin some cement. But it's Goofy. What do you expect? All right, from Disney's Hercules, we have Herc himself, and it says, "You're big with me, Valentine." Pretty simple, but I like it. All right, Arnold from Hey Arnold. I remember this was a big thing in the mid to late 90s. Like, I remember toys and books and merchandise, and it was just, the show was such a vibe. And it's one that holds up really well now, and I love the art on this thing. I think it looks really good. From Disney's Hunchback of Notre Dame, we have the three gargoyles, whose names I do not know off the top of my head, but very iconic. And I just love the backdrop on this, that red and purple and orange, mixed with the characters in the foregrounds. I think it looks great. No notes on this card. I think it's fantastic. Next up, we have Jurassic Park from 1992, and it is a Dilophosaurus, and it says, "You're a scream." I love it. It's corny, it's cheesy, it's Jurassic Park. I see nothing to complain about here. All right, Lamb Chop from 1994, Sherry Lewis's world famous little lamb puppet, and it says, "You're number one in my book, Valentine." And Lamb Chop is wearing a racing outfit, and yeah, that's on to the next one. Oh, we have Petrie from Land Before Time, and it says, "Please be my Valentine." And I love Petrie. He's one of the sweetest and most underrated characters in all of Don Bluth's filmography, I feel like. And I love seeing him represented on this card. We have The Lion King. I'm guessing this is probably from 94 or 95, whenever Lion King was in its heyday. And we have Simba and Nala. And they're wild about each other. All right, now we have Lisa Frank. And Lisa Frank was such an iconic thing. And this card, it shows you why. It's multicolors, it's awesome design, and you mean the world to me. So, like, dig it. It's great. Now I have another Lisa Frank design, and this is from Just a Cat. And like I was saying earlier, I love the color choices and just the artwork of a Lisa Frank design, and this is no exception to that. Next up, the 90s gave us Lola Bunny, so we had to have Lola Bunny on a card, right? This is from 1997, and I don't know if this is a Space Jam thing or if this was a Bugs and Lola promotion or what exactly brought us this card, but it's great to see her represented, and she's thinking of you, Valentine. Now we have, I mean, man, you've got dinosaurs and the Magic School Bus. How can you go wrong? And it's got a pun on top of that. Have tons of fun. Like, come on, can't get any better than that. Oh yeah, there was a whole line of Michael Jordan cards, and they all amuse me a great deal. This one is, I mean, it's typically just screen grabs of either like him at like press junkets or him playing ball, and then they have like a corny little note, love note written in them. And this one says, "You give me a lift," and you can see MJ sailing through the air as he does so beautifully. And here's another one: time out for fun. I mean, I have nothing else to say about this. Here we have Minnie Mouse, and I don't really remember this design, but I'm guessing it was sometime in the mid to late 90s. But it's a very, unique style for her. And it just says, "Too blue without you," which is sweet. And we have, oh my, this is a good one. This is a good one. Mrs. Potato Head. I'm a complex carbohydrate. 1998. In the late 90s, they really tried to push the Potato Head brand on us, and they did a pretty good job. Burger King had a bunch of cool toys for it, and then cards, and then, Potato Head was everywhere. And if you got this, then, somebody was... I don't know the end of that sentence. Somebody was thinking of you and potatoes. Next up, we have Mulan and Cricky. Cricky is one of my favorite characters, and it's great to see him represented here. And it's Mulan, and she says, "A true friend is the greatest gift," with a space to write your name. Very nice little card. Next up, we have the Muppets with Kermit and Piggy. And it just has an animated drawing of the two of them, and it says Valentine. I like this. I like most things Muppets, so I'm just happy to see it. And like I was saying earlier with the dinosaurs thing, it's cool to see these two in just sort of a traditional animated style. Oh man, this is an underrated classic in my book. It's beautiful. It's a beautifully done movie. And one that just kind of got forgotten with the sands of time, and I'm not sure why. But from 1994, we have The Page Master, and we have the 3 books, and it says, "Hope your Valentine's Day is one exciting adventure on top of another," which is literally what those books are. Do you get it? I don't know. I think it's a bit of a thinker. Yeah, because they're adventure books and they're stacked on top of. I think you get it. Yeah. Next up, we have Pepper Ann. Now, admittedly, this was a little bit after my time with cartoons, or like in a lull period, because I did get back into cartoons later. But Pepper Ann's not one I'm super familiar with, beyond the fact that it is a Disney property, and that is her. And she says, "Relax, it's just Valentine's Day." So that's Pepper Ann, I assume. Maybe she says relax a lot. Next up, we have Pocahontas, and it says Wingapo. That's Pocahontas's word for hello. So this card is both beautiful and educational. So, thanks Disney, teaching us stuff. Next up we have Ash and Pikachu from Pokemon, and it just says friends forever. This is a cool card. I like the design on both of them. I mean, it's simple but to the point, and I would have been happy to have received this, and I would probably still be friends with that person because they gave me this card. Absolutely. Next up, we have Zack from the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And this was a very, they used this particular animated art in a lot of things. I feel like this might have been the exact pose that the Black Ranger was in for the Color Forms set that I had as a kid. And then I remember seeing it all over the place, but for this one they added a heart in the background and a pink background behind that heart. So, they themed it up just right. But I love seeing this art. It makes me feel super nostalgic, and yeah, gotta love it. Next up, I don't know who this is. I don't even know what show it's from, because again, mid to late 90s I kind of got out of things. I also didn't have cable in the late 90s, so I missed a lot of the Cartoon Network stuff. But anyways, this dog, and I'm sure you'll let me know in the comments who it is, hopes you have a playful Valentine's Day. So, moving on. Okay, so I do know this one, sort of. I'm not super familiar with Recess, but it was a cartoon that I was at least aware of and caught occasionally on Saturday mornings, which I thought was funny, watching a show about recess on a Saturday. Felt a little ironic, But anyways, this says making time for Valentine's Day, and these troublemaking scoundrels are pushing the clock forward so that they can either get to recess or go home or to their Valentine's Day party. Next up, we have Stimpy from Ren and Stimpy, and he says, it's elementary, happy Valentine's Day. Ren and Stimpy was huge in the early to mid 90s. This is from 1993, and I think it captures Stimson J-Cat incredibly well. Sticking with Nickelodeon, we have Rocco from Rocco's Modern Life, and it's just a card with art around him and Happy Valentine's Day. It's basic, but it feels true to the character, true to the artwork, true to the series, and so no notes based on that. Now we have Rugrats. Man, we are just Nickelodeon. This is from 1997, which was arguably when Rugrats was probably at its peak, or right around there, maybe 98. But Tommy and Chucky, it says, "You're my best pal, Valentine," and I think that's very sweet and a nice card overall. Oh, and here we have another teacher card. So this is also Rugrats, and it just says, "To the best teacher in the whole world," which I think it should say "to the bestest teacher in the whole world," to sort of stick with the Tommy Pickles vocabulary. But I imagine teachers might actually get upset if they got a card, especially if it's like your English teacher and you give them a card that says "to the bestest teacher." They don't know Rugrats. They're going to get angry. They're going to be like, this card is incorrect. And I don't know who this baby wearing a diaper is, but he is teaching you bad vocabulary. You go home and tell your parents, you're not allowed to watch this show anymore. I think I got two in my head on this one. But anyways, to all the bestest grammar teachers out there, it's just a cartoon. Next up, we have Super Grover. I love Super Grover, and I love this card. I love that he's holding a heart and flying, and that it says, "It is I," with a hi, in true Grover speak. And like I said previously with Muppets, dinosaurs, it's just cool seeing a puppet done in this animated style. And this may be one of my favorites from the whole card set we've seen so far. These are called Sky Dancers, I think. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Anyways, this was a 90s thing. I remember the toy. I don't know if it was a series or what, but I just remember that you would, they had a blast off thing and they would fly up in the air and spin around. The card art's cool. I like it a lot. It almost has the more you know star at the bottom, but that's not tied to this at all. So anyways, that's this card. Next up, we have Dopey from Snow White. And he says, it's fun acting Dopey with you as he's blowing water out of his ears. Very true to the character. Love the card art. It's a great one. Oh, speaking of Lola and Bugs, here we go. Will You Be My Valentine? Now, this is pretty clearly a Space Jam related card. And I just love the blues and the greens and then the characters on top of it. I think this is a great card. From 1996. We have Tailspin. This is another teacher card, and it's Kit. And it says, Teacher, you're one of the good guys. Which I think this card art is really cool. I think it's probably inspired by one of the comic books that they released, but I think it looks great. Next up, speaking of characters who were huge in the 90s, Taz from Tasmania. And it's Taz and his girlfriend, and it just says something special up above it. Which is wild, considering that Taz had 5 shorts in the original, like the golden era of Looney Tunes. So it's crazy that he blew up to be this big in the 90s. But there was something very endearing about the character, and then introducing us to his family and his friends. Like, it was just a special little show, and I'm so glad that it happened. All right, now we have the Angry Beavers. It says, Happy Valentine's Day. Nickelodeon branded, 1998. Aw. Love the Bernstein Bears. And it says, Rolling By with a Valentine High. This is from 1990. Really like that one. 1996 brings us someone who is smoking, which is the animated series for The Mask, which was one of 3 Jim Carrey related animated series of the 90s. We had The Mask, Ace Ventura, and Dumb and Dumber. They all got cartoons, and The Mask and Ace Ventura even crossed over. It was such an iconic time to be a Jim Carrey fan, and I think this card is pretty cool. Next up, we have Homer from The Simpsons. He's holding a donut, and it says, You're a Real Treat. This is from 1994, 20th Century Fox. And I think it's interesting that Homer is wearing Bart's colors. Instead of his usual white and blue, he's wearing red and blue. So that's interesting, but like father, like son, right? Next up, we have Spice Girls Valentines. This is Baby Spice. It gives you to and from space, and man, there's nothing more 90s than this card right here. I love it, and I think it's really cool. And like, they were a media monster, a merchandising monster, if you will. So much stuff, including suckers and like all sorts of stuff. Like, it was such a great time, and you know, I wasn't into the boy band thing, but I was very much into the Spice Girls thing, and that, you know, this is a very cool card. Next up, we have Thomas and Friends. It says, Happy Valentine's Day, friend. It's got Gordon the Express Engine and Percy the Saddle Tank. And I've always had a soft spot for Percy, maybe because he's green, maybe because his name is Percy, I don't know. But anyways, that's Thomas. Next up, we have the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and it's Donatello drawing a heart in the sky with his sword. Although, yeah, Donnie didn't use a sword. That should be a bow staff. But anyways, it says, I'm drawn to you, Valentine. From 1992. Next up, ooh, this one's a little dark. Toonsylvania from 1998. It is the Igor character, I think was his name, and he's holding a heart, and it says, Have I got a heart-shaped Valentine for you? Ooh, unsettling. Next. This card practically writes itself, right? Be my Valentine to infinity and beyond. It's not a very great, like, quality looking card, but I dig what it's trying to represent. Next up, we have Trolls, and it says, I'm happy we're pals. Obviously, Ace Novelty brought us the Trolls in the 80s and 90s, and those things were huge. Everybody had one, whether they wanted one or not, I'm pretty sure. And that is it. That is all the cards that I'm going to do for this year. I'm going to try to make this an annual thing because, like I said, this is maybe 10% of the cards, give or take. So I hope to do this again, and I hope you enjoyed this. Did you have any of these cards? What were some of your favorite, or like the Valentine's Day cards that you remember getting the most? Leave a message in the comment. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a wonderful Valentine's Day, and we'll see you again next time. Until then, don't forget to stay nostalgic. Later, guys.